Guys, we got to talk about NIO stock, the stock price, what's going on with that. Also, everybody is just realizing how good NIO is here in China. And it all stems from the fact that NIO CEO, we talked about this recently, said that Firefly cars won't be using CATL swap system because CATL swap system is air cooled, and then NIO's batteries are all liquid cooled, and liquid cooled has its own advantages. And this really got, a lot of people sort of surprised, angry, and happy at the same time. All right, surprised by the fact that, wait, NIO's batteries are liquid cooled and it's regulated, meaning the cooling liquid is is regulated by the car and the swap station, meaning cooling liquid can go from the car to the battery. And then also in the swap station, they can remove or add more cooling liquid to the batteries. People didn't know this, right? They were surprised. And then they were also happy, like, man, we never knew that this was so good in terms of safety guarantee. And remember the fact that Li Auto Mega, the car caught on fire because of this exact problem, because their cooling liquid is like still water. It's not free flowing. It's stuck in the battery. When it gets hot, there's heat expansion. You know, there's nowhere to alleviate that pressure. When it cools, there's contraction. There's no way to alleviate that pressure either. Whereas with NIO, of course, you can pump out the cooling liquid or add more cooling liquid. It's like free flowing. And people were so shocked by this. I was also very shocked by this. I knew like the batteries were liquid cooled, but I didn't know it was like, the car can, draw cooling liquid from the battery and also pump more cooling liquid into the battery. We didn't know that. So people are so happy that there's this huge safety feature that they never knew about, right? And then Li Auto fired because, hey, you guys don't have what NIO has, a regulating sort of liquid cooled battery, that kind of stuff. Their liquid cooling is kind of stuck, and they got a problem with that liquid cooling battery. Fire. And then 10 seconds, the car is in like a big blaze. So people, this is like, it's a combination of everything, right? So everyone's so happy, but then they're also really frustrated and sad. Like, how come you never talked about this a long time ago? How come you never told everybody? This is such a huge marketing sort of a thing, right? I mean, right now it all makes sense and everybody's like, oh my God, that is so good. But you've had that for so many years and you never thought about telling people about this? And this is what people say, like in Chinese, they say that the 肉埋在饭里面. That's what they say. It means, translated, it means they hide the meat under the rice. Basically, like if you look at it, you just see rice, but you don't see the meat. But there's actually a lot of meat, meaning you're actually getting so much value for what you pay for, right? And whereas with normal people, you put the meat on top of the rice so that you see, oh, what you're getting, you're paying for this meat on the rice. So there's just like so much like good stuff in the car that's hidden that people don't know, that are good, that people should know, but then they're not telling people, which is the frustrating part. It's like you're so good, but you don't tell people how good you are. And then as a result, people think that the other car is better and they buy the other car. And then there's a fire. So people are frustrated because how good the car isn't being communicated. All right. So there's that thing that's going on right now. It's kind of going viral almost, that people are like, wow, NIO's cars are so damn good. And I think people that do full research on this topic will fully appreciate how good NIO's vehicles are. So really kudos to the design team and NIO as a company for really, doing things the ethical way, not cutting costs and cheaping out and compromising safety. So they never do that. They prioritize safety, which is always good. But then at the flip side, you got to criticize NIO, tell people about these kind of things, right? Your liquid cooled battery, it's so damn good. Yeah, it's frustrating. But then I also want to stick on this topic for a little bit, because people kind of misunderstood when I said that there's a huge divergence here with these basically battery swap duopoly. NIO is going for the pure liquid cooled high end route. It takes a bit longer to swap, and then CATL is going for the cheaper, like air cooled battery. Of course, it's inferior to liquid cooling. You don't have to like really convince anybody on that, but then it's really cheap and really fast. And recently, JD.com, if you guys didn't know JD.com, they're like the Amazon of China. They launched a car. Man, that's like Amazon launching an EV here in China, basically. And it's not built by them. It's GAC Ion that's building the car, but it's super cheap, all right? And then also that car can do CATL's battery swap, and it swaps in 99 seconds. And then they also have BaaS purchasing method where you just buy the car and don't need to rent the battery, and don't need to buy the battery, just rent the battery and pay monthly, $4.99 a month, I think. But overall, it's like really cheap. It's even a little bit cheaper than the Firefly car. Okay, so you know, you really have this divergence, and what I'm trying to get to you guys is the fact that there won't be a universal standard, and I don't think there ever will be when it comes to battery swap, and that's why it kind of changes everything. We thought about there's going to be NIO swap stations that in the future can swap every single car, but that's just not possible because their NIO swap stations will only be able to swap liquid-cooled batteries, and then the CATL swap stations will also coexist, and they focus on the cheaper, like 99-second to swap, super cheap air-cooled batteries for like those cheaper vehicles. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to you guys. There won't be a universal standard, and I think that's something we have to accept. Okay. Now, let's talk about NIO's stock price. What's going on with NIO's stock price? And I think a lot of this, it has to do with the market as well. Sort of pulling back a little bit. We had a very good run. There's some exhaustion, people taking profit, etc. But then at the same time, I think investors could be potentially gearing up for earnings. They might want to like sell out the stock before earnings. Maybe they're anticipating some really terrible earnings, because personally, I don't think Q3 will be that good looking in terms of earnings, because they said they spent all the money in Q3, so they don't have to spend the money in Q4. So that kind of implies that expenses are going to be a little bit higher in Q3. They had two launch events, the ES8 and the Envo launch event in Q3. So, yeah, does beg to question, hopefully, we don't see terrible results, of course. But then there could be some selling because of that. But overall, I don't expect too much downward price action. Okay, we'll have to see. And I think the deliveries, you would expect the positive deliveries to really boost NIO's stock price, right? It's good news. We're delivering record high weekly numbers. But the opposite is happening. The stock price isn't reacting to this. Maybe it's priced in. Maybe it's not. Maybe profitability is priced in. Maybe the success of the Envo L90 and the success of the ES8 is already priced in. And that could be a possibility as well. But I don't think Q4 profitability is priced in. And I know a lot of people are skeptical that this probably won't happen. I too am a little bit skeptical as well, but I am very optimistic, and I think that there's a strong possibility because they cut so much in costs in Q3. And what I'm seeing here in China, I do think it's very possible. And I think if we do achieve profitability in Q4, then that's going to be just a huge surprise to everybody. Even though NIO CEO has been telling us about that, I don't think people are actually expecting profitability. So, but that's way out in like March, when we'll get the Q4 results, when we'll get the Q4 actual earnings report. So maybe, we still have a lot of time before that happens. So we'll have to see. Yeah. Hopefully, profitability is actually going to be achieved. And if that is the case, then, yeah, There's no need to worry about NEO going under, or running out of money, or whatsoever, anything like that. And we're off to a new beginning, basically. A beginning where NEO is now a profitable company and growing and growing and growing. Right now, they got the growing part down in terms of sales, but they got to get the profitability part down. So hopefully that happens soon. Yeah. So, yeah, the stock price is a little bit depressing to look at, but it is what it is. Nothing goes up forever. Sometimes you got to have these kind of pullbacks, right? And hopefully it doesn't pull back too much, right? And I see a lot of your comments, oh, it's a great, buy the dip opportunity. Yeah, of course, right? Not financial advice. Yeah, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.